AITA. Am I the a-hole for buying my fifth property rather than help out my siblings? For context, even when I, 44M, was a child, I was incredibly into owning property and designing houses. I work as an architect and am doing quite well for myself. Bought my first duplex here in Germany a long time ago where I rent out both part. Then I own 2 houses in Italy and 1 in Spain. 2 of them are get rented out as holiday homes, while the last one I use for vacations and rent out a room to a friend of mine. So I have a lot of passive income at the moment, but only after a lot of time and money investments and refurbishing of these houses. I rent in NYC at the moment as my job has made me move here temporarily. My brother, 48M, does an apartment. He has a family with 2 kids while my wife and I are childless. They are currently looking to purchase a house that fits all of them nicely. While they have found their dream house, it's out of budget for them. Meanwhile, my wife and I are about to buy our 5th house, this time in France. It's going to be one of our largest purchases yet, significantly larger than anything else we have done. It's a great deal on the property, however, and ideally what my wife and I want to retire in. When having a family FaceTime with my siblings and parents, I brought it up. Initially very happy for me, my brother mentioned how he needs a larger home for his family, and how I should give up on this opportunity to give him money for his house and spend the rest on refurbishing their new home. I just laughed and said flat out no. Edit, thought this was a joke. This was apparently the wrong move. My entire family turns against me and starts berating me. After 10 minutes of them taking turns telling me to buy my brother a house, I said I'd think about it and left. I am a bit of a pushover, so after talking to my wife, we agreed we could wait and buy their house and rent it out to them at no profit. Apparently this was insulting to him, having his younger brother be his landlord, and my parents said I should just outright give him the money we have been saving. I told him to piss off, and started moving forward with the paperwork on our house in France. After talking to my friends, they said I should put family first and it's not like we are struggling for money. Now I am confused. AITA? Am I the a-hole? Edit. This edit is super late, but I want to clarify my brother does have money for a 4-bedroom house. He isn't broke. Just not enough money for his dream house. The dream house is approximately double as expensive. NTA. Not the a-hole. You shouldn't have to pay for your brother's house. He should live within his means. Besides, money between family members can be a more dividing issue than most. NTA. Not the a-hole at all. For what it's worth, I'm your brother in my life. I have 2 kids in an apartment, and just can't afford to purchase what we need right now. My sister-in-law just bought her 3rd home, and I'll admit there's always twinges of jealousy, and the fleeting thought that it'd be nice if she'd help us out. But that's just me being a brat. Obviously I'm not entitled to someone else's money. Absolutely NTA, and on top of that, beggars can't be choosers. I find it insulting that they were insulted that you offered to buy their dream house, and rent it to them for 0 profit. YTA. You're the a-hole. I don't think you are necessarily an a-hole to your brother, but you're definitely an a-hole for frocking with economies of countries you don't even live in by buying up properties, then either leaving them empty or renting them out as vacation houses, Airbnb, almost certainly, therefore taking up needed space and pricing out locals. Having lived in both Europe and America, the NTAs you're getting are from Americans, mostly, who see this level of greed as morally neutral at worst. Nobody should own 5 frocking houses. NTA. First off, I believe when there's an expectation of gratitude to the point of getting upset at not receiving it, it becomes greed. Plain old selfish greed. It's admirable you decided to turn the biggest gain in your home owning career thus far, into a gift for your family, with a very reasonable landlord agreement. They are being ridiculously entitled for just assuming their better off relatives are obligated to give them a house for free. Edit. And I can't believe the irony behind them feeling insulted by having family be a landlord, but don't think it's insulting to demand a large amount of money from family just because they're more financially successful. ESH. Everybody sucks here. You're shite for rubbing your success and wealth in the face of your family who you know are struggling. They're shite for expecting you to help them out and being angry that you won't. You're also the a-hole for owning 5 properties, which is more than anyone can reasonably need. People like you are the cause of inflated housing prices that keep folk like your brother from being able to afford a single property. And if you're thinking of saying that you don't rub it into their faces, anytime you mention it you're rubbing it in. When you announce to them that you're buying your biggest every house yet, in yet another country, you're rubbing it in. The polite and civilized way to be wealthy and successful is to not rub it in the faces of the less fortunate. And also to find ways to help the less fortunate. I'm not saying you need to buy his house for him, but maybe there's ways you can help him financially that would really help him out. YTA. You're the a-hole for sucking wealth out of countries that aren't your own. ESH. Everybody sucks here. Your brother sucks for seeming to fully expect you to not only buy him a house, but also refurbish and outfit it just because you can. Particularly when, you believe, he could afford a suitable house on his own. It's one thing to ask for some assistance on a down payment or something, but expecting a gift like that to the point of being actually angry when it's denied is foolish and greedy. I can understand his desire not to have his brother as a landlord while still not owning property, honestly, though he certainly could have handled the offer better. But also, dude. You knew he was in that situation and feeling very frustrated, and you brought up buying the most expensive property of your 5 houses to him? Just as a conversation starter? That sucks and you know it sucks. I know people have different and ostensibly valid opinions about owning houses in other countries, excess wealth, whatever. I don't care about that because I don't know the details of how you've handled those decisions. You're also under no obligation to buy someone else a whole damn house just because you can, and the whole exchange would be tainted now even if you wanted to do it. But in terms of relating to and being respectful of / kind to your sibling, not cool. ESH. Your brother is out of order, but I am not a supporter of having more than one property, especially since you're saying they might be mostly empty throughout the year, maybe only have people in there during the season etc. It just fuels the rich-poor divide, so I can't support that. People are searching for their first home and can't buy it because people like you have 5 and rent them out on Airbnb or similar. That being said, renting to him for free for a year or 2 would have really helped their finances, and they should have taken up the good offer you privileged them with. They feel just as entitled as you do. YTA. You're the a-hole. Dude, you can retire in any of your other 4 properties. Damn, you can even retire in a 5th property you will probably have the money to buy soon. It would cost virtually nothing to you to help. Not mentioning the fact that you are speculating and rising the rent price from the places you bought your houses. I'm from a Spanish city where locals are getting frocked by entrepreneurs like you. Maybe the same one where you are having your vacation house, many Germans around pulling this kind of business. This may come from my personal struggle, but I hope they ban you all and give houses back to the neighbors. I know the main reasoning here in Reddit is usually, you can do whatever you want with your money and it's alright, but Imo, there are ethical boundaries with the things you can do, even if it's perfectly legal. Just sell one of you vacation rental properties and help your brother out. You'll be doing a lot of people a favor. Edit. I suggest you take a look at any of the FB groups for house renting in any of the cities where you have houses. Post this AITA story there. I'm curious to see the responses. YTA. Not for anything with your brother. It would be nice to help him out, and your offer to rent to him is nice given how demanding your family has been. You aren't an a-hole for not doing so. As others have said, you are an a-hole for owning 4 to 5 houses. Why? From what you've said, you've been a decent enough landlord, but in my opinion, the practice of snatching foreign property just to continually increase your passive income is gross. And your brother needs to be realistic and buy a house he can afford. He isn't entitled to have you pay for the house he wants, but can't afford. Why the frock do you need 5 houses? Have you heard about the distribution of wealth? You know the only reason you are able to accumulate this wealth is because of the existence of poor people?